Hey y'all, Coach in the Fight here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about burnt offerings. I'm looking here at the Engine Parts Center because I got a little bit of a burnt motor, so to speak, but we're interested in burnt offerings. And we're interested in a burnt offering as in what we see over in Leviticus chapter 1. We see it in chapter 23, and that's what prompted this discussion. Because we're asked to make a burnt offering, and so what we want to do is come over here and find out exactly what that is. We're going to start in here at about verse 1. And at BibleHub.com, interlinear, and called to Moses and spoke Yahweh to him from the tabernacle of meeting, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, and say to them, Anyone when brings of you an offering to Yahweh of the livestock, of the herd, and of the flock, ye shall bring an offering, if a burnt sacrifice, an offering, his offering of the herd, a male without blemish, let him offer at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. He shall offer it of his own free will before Yahweh. All right, so let's look at what it looks like in the KJV. That was Leviticus 1, 2, 3. Let's read it.
Leviticus, the third book of Moses, called Leviticus. Chapter 1. And the Lord called unto Moses, and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying,
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him.
So we're looking at this word burnt offering. We see it there in verse 4. This is the laws of burnt offerings. So when we see this word burnt sacrifice, burnt offering, we see the word alaha with the ayin at the beginning. See, the meaning means a step, a holocaust for 5930. A step, a holocaust? Usage, the term alaha refers to a specific type of sacrifice in the Hebrew Bible known as the burnt offering. This offering was entirely consumed by fire at the altar, symbolizing complete dedication and surrender to God. See, this is the problem. It doesn't say that it was entirely consumed. You shall bring your offering if is a burnt offering or an olah. So if it is a step or a holocaust. So if you bring this type of offering, a step or a holocaust, we're going to take this real slow. It says it should be a male. It has to be a male without blemish. You have to offer it at the door of the tabernacle, it says there. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice, so if he's doing that type of offering, he shall offer it it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord, and the priest and Aaron's son shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So now this is the purpose of the altar. I'll go to Exodus chapter 20. You see right there, it says, an altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and thou shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. So this is saying that we have to have an altar. Thou shalt make me an altar because of this reason right here. What we see in Leviticus chapter 1 and verse 5, where it says, and Aaron's sons shall bring the blood. Those are the Levites. The Levites shall bring the blood and sprinkle it round about upon the altar. And see down there, it says, and shall bring the sons of Aaron, the priests, the blood and sprinkle. So here's the word sprinkle right here, 22:36. Zarah, meaning to sprinkle. Throw is another word. So they ain't sprinkling it, they throwing it. And throw the blood upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So they throwing the blood on the altars. So you can imagine that they have dispatched this animal, and they have the blood there. You don't want it to be all over the ground. You got to dispose of it with a shovel, so they would catch it in these basins, and then they would pour it or throw it onto the altar, so that it would burn, and they would have the wood to go along with it, so that it wouldn't smell like burnt blood, but it would actually smell like pine trees burning, or cedar trees, or there's 14 different trees that's allowed to use. But notice that the word burnt offering is only the title. It's not describing it yet, like when we see in verse 6, and he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into his pieces, and he shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into its pieces. So this right here is slaughtering, skinning, cleaning the animal. They're getting prepared for a barbecue is what they're doing. So we see that we're going to skin it. Some would question it because there are those who burn the hair off of the animal instead of skinning the animal. So we see here pushada, which is to spread out or strip. And this is where they're getting the word skin from. And then again, we see 59:30, the title. But notice it's saying that it cut into its pieces. The significance of that is what would be opposite, which would be Passover, where we have to leave the animal whole. Now they're actually cutting it like you would normally do, because it's just easier to cook when it's in pieces. When it's whole, you have to worry about the whole thing, but individual pieces, you can take them off as they get done, as they cook. And then it says, and Aaron's sons, the priests, the Levites, are basically going to cook it on the altar. So the altar, let's see what that word altar is, because it's like a fire pit. The word is mezabucha, or mezabicha, mazabacha, uses altar or altars. So you're talking about something like that. Now, opposed to this, because those would be hewn stones, but these natural stones, and they would have the meat there. So that would be the Olah. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar and lay the wood in order upon the altar. And the priest Aaron's sons shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. So again, you have a barbecue. Then in verse 8 it says, but his inwards and his legs shall he wash in water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. So again, just like Passover, all of the animal is being put on the grill, including the inward parts, the offal as they are called, as well as the head is grilled. And then Leviticus goes on to describe what you would do with other animals. This one up here, the first one was a bullock. You see in verse 5, that's a bull, bukara. But then in verse 10, we see 3775, which is kashaba. Young sheep is a kashaba. But let's look at this word burn here. We see in verse 9, because this is critical to the understanding. We are to understand that a burnt offering is a barbecue, what we would call a cookout. You see right there, it says, but his entrails and its legs he shall wash with water and shall burn. And so that's, let's see, click it. It's 6999. Quatara. To burn incense, to offer sacrifice, to smoke. The meaning is to smoke, turn into fragrance by fire. So in other words, they're smoking the meat. So yes, it's used as burn a lot of times, but it looks like it's used more as smoke. The word kotara, which meaning is to smoke. So back here in Leviticus, it's saying that the priest shall smoke the meat on the altar or on the grill. But we see the same word for Strong 7000, quatara. It means to enclose. Definition: to burn, to offer a sacrifice, to smoke. So that would be the same word. Just a different choice. Same as Strong 7001, which has a definition of incense, smoke, sacrifice. The meaning is a riddle. But then you have 7002, same word, to burn, to offer incense, to cause to smoke, meaning is perfume. But we note that all of those have in common smoke. So they're smoking the meat, not necessarily burning it all the way up as we were taught, but actually grilling it, same as same as we do on all get-togethers and holy convocations, special days. We find out that these are these holy convocations that we are to have, like in Leviticus 23, when it's talking about the wave offering and the Pentecost offering. That is supposed to be a barbecue. We're supposed to grill at Pentecost according to verse 18. And those are the two times they're supposed to grill. The burnt offerings, Pentecost, and first fruits, according to Leviticus 23. Of course, you could have new moon days, so we'll read about it other subsequent chapters. But we'll do so in another video. If you got anything out of this one, hit the like button. But if you didn't, hit the dislike button, but leave us a comment either way, and shalom.